You know what's wild? You could be someone's entire world on Monday, and by Friday, you're just a name they scroll past without a second thought. And if that's ever happened to you, if you've ever felt that gut punch moment when someone who used to text you good morning suddenly acts like you're invisible, welcome to being human. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and nobody really prepares you for it. But here's the truth bomb I'm dropping today. The moment you learn to survive alone is the moment you actually start living. So buckle up, because we're about to flip your entire perspective on relationships, self-worth, and what it really means to be unshakable. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. I used to bend myself into a pretzel trying to be important to people. I'd answer texts at 2 a.m, cancel my plans when they needed something, basically turn myself into an emotional pretzel. And you know what happened? The second I needed them, crickets. Radio silence. Suddenly I was an inconvenience, and I sat there thinking, what did I do wrong? Spoiler alert, absolutely nothing. That's just life doing its thing. Here's what nobody tells you when you're growing up. They don't sit you down and say, hey, people are going to change their minds about you, and it won't always make sense. Your best friend from college might become a stranger. Your ride or die might ride right out of your life. That person who swore they'd always have your back might suddenly decide they don't even want to make eye contact. And the kicker? Sometimes there's no dramatic reason, no big fight, no betrayal. People just drift. They evolve. Their priorities shift, and you're left standing there like, wait, what just happened? And I know what you're thinking. This sounds depressing, like really depressing. But stay with me, because this is actually the most liberating thing you'll hear all week. Once you accept that people's feelings and priorities are as changeable as the weather, you stop giving them so much power over your peace. You stop walking on eggshells. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, wondering why they haven't replied. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Let me share something fascinating. There's this concept in psychology about locus of control. Basically, it's about where you place your power. Do you put it in external things like other people's opinions, their validation, their presence in your life? Or do you keep it internal, rooted in your own sense of worth and capability? When you're constantly looking outside yourself for proof that you matter, you're basically handing your remote control to everyone else. They get to decide if you have a good day or a bad day. They determine your mood, your confidence, your entire emotional state. That's exhausting, right? But when you shift that locus of control inward, when you decide that your value isn't up for negotiation based on who's paying attention to you this week, everything changes. You become solid, unshakable, not because you're cold or you don't care about people, but because you've built a foundation that doesn't crumble the second someone walks away. Now, let's get practical, because philosophy without action is just pretty words. How do you actually become someone who can survive and thrive alone? How do you stop being dependent on others for your sense of worth and stability? First thing, and this is huge, you've got to develop what I call your survival toolkit. These are the practical skills and resources that mean you're never completely helpless. Can you cook a decent meal for yourself? Can you manage your finances? Do you know how to fix basic things around your space? Can you entertain yourself without needing someone else there? I'm not saying you need to become a wilderness survivalist, but there's something incredibly empowering about knowing you can handle life's basics without calling for backup. Every time you master a new skill, you're literally telling your brain, "Hey, I've got this. I'm capable. I'm resourceful." Second, build your relationship with yourself like it's the most important relationship you'll ever have. Because guess what? It is. You're the only person guaranteed to be with you from your first breath to your last. So why are you treating yourself like an afterthought? Start dating yourself. Take yourself out. Buy yourself flowers. Have conversations with yourself that are kind and supportive. I know it sounds cheesy, but the way you talk to yourself matters. If your internal dialogue sounds like a mean girl from a bad teen movie, you're never going to feel secure, no matter how many people claim they love you. Here's a fun exercise. For 1 week, keep track of how you speak to yourself when something goes wrong. Did you mess up at work? What's the first thing you think? If it's something like, "I'm such an idiot, I always screw everything up," we need to work on that. Because you wouldn't talk to a friend that way, would you? You'd say something like, "Hey, mistakes happen. You're learning. You'll do better next time." Give yourself that same grace. Third, create a life that you actually enjoy living, with or without other people in it. This is critical. So many of us build our entire existence around other people. Our hobbies are their hobbies. Our schedule revolves around their availability. Our happiness depends on their presence. And then when they leave, we're left with this empty shell of a life we don't even recognize. Don't do that to yourself. Find things that light you up. Maybe it's painting, hiking, cooking exotic foods, learning languages, building furniture, whatever. Fill your life with activities and interests that make you think, "You know what? My life is actually pretty great." Other people can enhance it, but they're not the whole foundation. Fourth, get comfortable with solitude. And I mean really comfortable. Not the kind where you're white-knuckling through alone time, counting the minutes until you can be around people again. I'm talking about the kind where you genuinely enjoy your own company. Start small. Have a meal alone without your phone. Sit in a park for 20 minutes just watching the world. Take yourself to a movie. The goal is to prove to yourself that being alone doesn't equal being lonely. Solitude can be peaceful, restorative, even joyful. Here's the thing about becoming self-sufficient. It doesn't mean you're closing yourself off or becoming some isolated hermit. It means you're choosing to engage with people from a place of wholeness rather than need. You're not desperately clinging to relationships because you'll fall apart without them. You're inviting people into your life because you genuinely enjoy them, not because you'll be lost without them. Can you feel the difference? That's the shift from dependence to interdependence. Fifth, diversify your emotional investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket or even 2 baskets. Have multiple sources of connection and support, friends from different areas of your life, family members you're close with, communities you're part of, maybe a therapist or coach, online groups centered around your interests. When you have a network, rather than just 1 or 2 key people, you're not devastated when one person changes or leaves. You've got other sources of support and connection. It's like financial diversification, but for your emotional well-being. Sixth, practice the art of letting go. This is probably the hardest one. We get so attached to how things are, how people are, how we think things should be. But life is constant change. People grow. They move. They evolve. Sometimes they evolve right out of your life. And fighting that reality only causes you suffering. When someone shows you through their actions that you're no longer a priority, believe them. Don't convince yourself you can change their mind. Don't exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth. Just acknowledge the truth. Feel whatever you need to feel about it, and then redirect your energy toward people and things that actually value you. Let me tell you a secret. The people who suddenly decide you're not important anymore, they're doing you a favor. They're clearing space in your life for people who will consistently show up. They're removing themselves so you can stop wasting energy on someone who's already mentally checked out. It stings in the moment, absolutely. But 6 months from now, you'll look back and realize you're better off. And here's where it gets really good. When you become someone who's genuinely okay alone, something magical happens. You stop tolerating mediocre relationships. You stop settling for crumbs of attention. You stop accepting treatment that doesn't align with your worth. Because you know, deep in your bones, that you'd rather be alone than be with people who make you feel small, uncertain, or unimportant. That's power. That's freedom. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one thing from this video. Just one. Maybe it's taking yourself out for coffee this weekend. Maybe it's starting to notice how you talk to yourself. Maybe it's finally signing up for that class you've been curious about. Whatever it is, commit to it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just start. And here's the beautiful irony. The moment you stop needing people is often the moment you start attracting the right ones. Because you're no longer desperate. You're no longer trying to convince anyone of your value. You're just solidly, confidently yourself. And the people who are meant to be in your life will recognize that and stick around, not because you need them, but because you enhance each other's lives. Your worth isn't determined by who texts you back, or who includes you, or who suddenly decides you matter. Your worth is inherent, unchangeable, and yours alone to claim. So claim it. Build that unshakable foundation. Learn to survive alone, and then watch how differently you move through the world. Leave a comment telling me which step you're starting with. And if this resonated, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started on this journey of becoming absolutely unstoppable.